When read together in full context, the life of Jesus, the miracles attributed to him, and the titles later placed upon him form a single internally coherent symbolic system, rooted in far older initiatory traditions, one designed to describe inner transformation and psychological integration, rather than to demand suspension of reason or blind belief. The miracles were never intended as violations of natural law, but as demonstrations of consciousness, operating in alignment with higher order. The virgin birth symbolizing awakened awareness, arising from an unconditioned mind untouched by inherited fear, identity, or egoic patterning. Healing, representing the restoration of perception, agency, and inner coherence. Casting out demons, describing liberation from compulsive drives, intrusive thought forms, and fragmented inner states. Resurrection encoding, rebirth beyond ego, identification after collapse or surrender, and the Trinity functioning as a precise map of consciousness itself, Source, Father, expression in lived form, Son, and animating intelligence or movement between states, Spirit, perceived at different levels yet unified in essence. These symbols were never unique to Christianity but inherited and refined from ancient mystery traditions, Egyptian, Hermetic, Platonic, Essene, because genuine psychological and spiritual transformation cannot be transmitted literally, only recognized internally through lived experience. What Jesus represented within this lineage was not invention but restoration, a deliberate refurbishing of an ancient inner map that had been externalized, ritualized, and monopolized by priesthoods, returning authority to direct perception and collapsing fear-based mediation. This is why his teachings consistently redirected attention away from temple, hierarchy, and spectacle toward the kingdom within, framing transformation as an internal process rather than an external transaction. The phrase Son of God, which later became the greatest obstacle to belief, was never meant to establish biological exception, hierarchy, or exclusion, but embodiment, consciousness fully realized in human form. In ancient language, a son was one who carried the nature of a source, not one who monopolized it, which is why Jesus repeatedly deflected worship of his person and emphasized imitation of his state. The works I do, you shall do, positioning himself as a demonstration rather than an exemption, as symbolic literacy declined and institutions required fixed narratives to govern large populations. Metaphor hardened into history, psychology into theology, and inner transformation into external belief. Literalism simplified transmission at the cost of depth, turning a usable inner science into an unbelievable story and an inclusive model into exclusionary doctrine. When restored to original intent, however, these teachings map directly onto lived human experience. Healing appears as recovery from trauma and fragmentation. Resurrection as identity reformation after collapse. Demons as compulsive thought loops and emotional hijackings. And the virgin birth as insight arising without prior conditioning. Seen this way, the story of Jesus does not negate faith but restores its function, preserving meaning while removing implausibility, revealing not a tale about magic or blind obedience, but a precise ancient psychology of coherence, showing what human consciousness looks like when fear dissolves, perception clears, identity integrates, and authority returns to the individual rather than the system. This same structure appears wherever human beings have mapped consciousness. Honestly, the Buddha's enlightenment beneath the Bodhi tree follows the same arc of temptation, surrender, illumination, and return. Plato's allegory of the cave describes the same rebirth of perception and the resistance it provokes. The Stoics framed it as mastery of impulse through alignment with logos. Taoism expressed it as living in accordance with the way rather than egoic striving. Different cultures use different language, but the architecture is identical because the terrain is the same. The human mind, identity, and capacity for coherence. This universality is precisely why the Jesus narrative endured. Not because it was unique, but because it was precise. And the implication of this precision is practical, not abstract. If these symbols describe real inner mechanics, then transformation is not granted through belief, but cultivated through alignment. Attention disciplined, fear integrated, impulse restrained, perception clarified. Miracles in this sense are not spectacles to admire, but outcomes that emerge naturally when consciousness becomes ordered, rather than fragmented. Read this way, the story of Jesus ceases to compete with reason or modern psychology and instead completes them, offering a timeless framework for inner authority that does not require rejection of the world, only clarity within it. Humanfluence, out.